Hello, hello, and welcome. This is the Animen Waku podcast. I am your host, Travis Gray from Animen, the Animen. Yeah, that's right. So trying out this kind of podcast thing, I figured it would be just kind of a fun thing to kind of start and just to kind of talk a little about um, anime. No edits, just um, just kind of chatting a little bit about anime. Maybe this will extend to something a lot bigger within the future. Um, so yeah, uh, we're actually heading up on our I believe season 6. If I'm not mistaken, and I'm gonna feel like a complete fool if it's not season 6 that we're expecting. Um, season 7, I feel like a complete fool there. It's been a very interesting month, or a few months, I should say. If you haven't checked the recent videos that have been out, the Animen mini golf and the season 7 intro, that should really explain what has kind of gone on. A good buddy, and we'll probably be saying it in our next upcoming season 7 of Animen Watch Anime. Um, Nick is moved to South Korea. He's kind of doing his own little thing there. Might have him on the podcast at one day, um, South Korean time, to kind of still chat, keep in contact with him, keep him on the show, hear about his kind of adventures there. Um, but ultimately, why I wanted to kind of start this podcast is we got actually a couple of things on our agenda today. So kind of how this is gonna work is we're gonna talk a little bit about an anime, moments that I personally enjoyed, or for anybody that is a guest on the show, why they personally enjoyed um, this particular anime, and what led them to watch the particular anime. Um, Awesome fights segment on fights, and talking about a little bit of those fights that we see on within that particular anime. And then we got random facts of the anime, and then the future of the show. And I figured we can end off the show with a nice little waifu and husbando list. Um, so if you haven't seen from the title already, today's podcast is going to be about Danmachi, or Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls? Or I think it's Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Is the full title. Now, this anime is actually recently has had its newest season, season 5. Again, I feel like I'm getting the seasons wrong there. Um, I believe it's season 5. Um, Again, I feel like I'm going a little too ahead. To probably think of the movie. No, it was season 4. Yeah, I believe it was season 4. That just started a week ago or such. Um, but yeah, I'm waiting for the anime to kind of build up before I binge it, because I really enjoy the anime, and I want to talk about it a little. So Dan Machi, to me, is, and it's no surprise that there's so many videos on on the channel of me talking just about the anime, and how much I really enjoy the. This is literally the anime that got me mainstreamed into anime. I used to watch stuff like Pokemon and Sailor Moon and Yu-Gi-Oh and Digimon. I watched the very obscure movie Little Nemo's Adventures in Slumberland. Um, so I wasn't shy from anime, and I watched a couple of episodes of Naruto, but never got into it growing up. But it was Dan Machi that really like made this kind of gateway for me. And I think what I really enjoyed about Dan Machi, and this honestly should be a separate video, but hey, got a whole podcast based on it. Sorry about that, a little indigestion there. Um, I think Danmachi. I'm gonna move my pop filter up a little bit here. Um, but I like Danmachi a lot because I think it's probably the best. I know a lot of people are gonna definitely argue against this, but I really think it's the best fantasy based anime out there. I know a lot of people really will disagree on that. They might say like Berserk or Kingdom or Claymore is a better fantasy based anime. But I think Danmachi really hits the marks. I think a lot of people really take it for granted. They think it's just some harem anime with a lot of lewd scenes, and they could be very miss that's just such misinformation there. And it's really because of the title, and the title's probably poster girl being Hestia. Um, she is definitely very lewd when you look at her. But yeah, Hestia is very nice character, and actually very really well written for a character. Again, it just the internet really just overhyped her because of her looks. But I assure you, if you are listening to this podcast, go check on Denmachi because there's gonna be a little bit of spoilers ahead. Um, I do think it just gets a bad rap because of its name. Um, and I want to talk a little bit about that actually. So as I stated, I think it is genuinely the best fantasy based anime. Um, think it's I don't want to say it's peak, but it definitely is one of the best, or again the best fantasy based anime out there because for me at least hits all the marks of what a fantasy world should be. Um, and these marks being that we start off with a very interesting, intriguing world, very RPG kind of based. We have this kind of skill set that's been placed in the very first episode. Some like a status sheet on tattooed on the backs of these adventurers. We do get a glimpse of different races, and I think that's uh, very missed in a lot of, especially isekais. We don't see a lot of race and different races, and I think that Danmachi does that really great. We don't just get the elves and the dwarves and the humans. Um, we get other types of races. We get gnomes and I think they're called pikes. I know I'm gonna anger a lot of people because of my knowledge here. My knowledge here, but but we definitely get a good kind of a range that's really established early on, and really makes this Arario, our setting, a very interesting setting because they also have this kind of tower in the middle of the city, and it's really interesting. It's just interesting. There's a mystery about the dungeon, and obviously there's a mystery about the show. And I think the biggest thing that I didn't mention was there was gods and goddesses. Um, so right there just has a great variety of characters, and there is some comedic elements within the first season, and I'm mostly going to be talking about like the first season of Danmachi. I might explore a little bit into the later seasons, but the first season there's a bit of comedy, but a lot of action, a lot of really great action, and I don't want to move on to that just yet. But again, what I really enjoyed about this is there is that nice balance between action, comedy, suspense, and some actually very emotional moments within this anime that again gets lost because a lot of people are out there are simps. um, and they really only watch the anime for the, the 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 plot, and I'm not talking about the actual story. And then there's a good majority of people who do watch it for the main plot and Belle Cornell's story, of becoming an adventurer, and getting winning the heart of Ainz Wallenstein and or Wallen whatsoever, as Hestia likes to call it. Um, but kind of continuing on things I really liked about the show is um, when I first watched Danmachi again, I watched a little bit of anime, here and there, and when I was younger, and I just didn't pay it no mind. It was never something that interested me. And I'm not saying like in the terms of that cartoons are for children. And I know it's anime technically is cartoons made in Japan. Um, but I've never been on that standpoint. I've never been on the standpoint that cartoons are for children. So I know I enjoy Disney and Pixar and animated films as much as anybody. So I do think there is an adult audience out there that should be taken in mind, and that's what I really liked. What really gravitated me towards Danmachi, because very much unlike like Sailor Moon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, Pokemon, and maybe even Naruto. Again, I only watched one episode when I was little. Um, a lot of the episodes I watched again, they felt like they gravitated towards to the children kind of demographic. Um, where Danmachi in the first episode, there's blood and this did feel like a more mature kind of adventure, and I like that. I really did like that, and that's kind of what got me into anime. Again, as I said, mainstream really got me into anime. So yeah, I really like Danmachi. I think it's just fantastic, very fantastic series. Really cool and just again really well done of a series there. Um, so again, just a little bit more about the anime itself. And again, back onto that kind of fantasy. I know I went on a little bit of a tangent on why I really do enjoy that. Why I really enjoy it, but it does have this kind of fantasy feel. The art style is gorgeous. The art style is just it is drop dead gorgeous. Everything from the background to the foreground, everything what characters hold, the money system, the gems that fall by the enemies, and that exchange in currency, and I think a really another cool thing that again gives it props and gives it a little bit more of that world building is that the creator really took time to create its own the world's own language, its own alphabet. Um, that is really cool, and also taken again I think a very complex and very interesting and fun status system, of leveling up. Um, I think going in, and this is actually a later segment on the show, where we talk about some random facts of the anime, which I would like to keep that random fact, but there are other reasons that make this show just again a top notch fantasy film or fantasy series. There is actually a film this series ended up getting, which was the Arrow of Orion, and that was actually really fantastic. I actually saw that in theaters with at the time my girlfriend, who is now my wife actually. Um, but yeah, saw that in theaters, and again ran into them Hestia simps, but I had to be a little bit more glad because if it wasn't for Hestia, we wouldn't honestly have gotten the popularity the show really deserves, and I think I can't really say like I discourage the people who are in it for the fan service. I really feel like that really did help and made Hestia very popular, and especially her outfits very popular on the internet. A lot of anime characters and a lot of artists have done interpretations of other anime characters in Hestia's outfit. So yeah, it's very very iconic and very popular. And again, a lot of people are out there don't want to jump into that mainstream stuff, but and I know some people are going to say Danmachi's not mainstream, and I agree. I wish. I can't really say it's not mainstream. There's a whole Crunchyroll app of it, and Crunchyroll heavily advertised as Danmachi. Um, so can't necessarily say it's not mainstream. It could be a little bit more mainstream, but yeah. So I do want to kind of move over a little bit to uh, talking about some of the fights in Danmachi, and there's a lot of really good fights. Again, when I think of Danmachi, I think the biggest thing I remember from season one, and I think season one is just, oh, it's fantastic. I always revisit. I actually revisit a couple of fights. I just kind of randomly turn on my turn on Crunchyroll, go to stream this, go to my streaming site, and go to Hulu even. Have it on DVD. So I always pull up these particular scenes, anime, these particular fights that I really enjoy, and I think um, one of the coolest fights in the series. And again, I'm hoping you've seen the series before listening to me talk about this, because I don't want to spoil anything, especially for this particular fight I'm going to talk about. But the first fight with the first real fight, I should say, with Bell and the Minotaur. And the Minotaur ends up getting a name a little bit later on in the series, but that's due to other things I don't want to talk about, because I don't want to spoil too much of the show. But Bell's first real fight with the Minotaur is a really great moment for me. I know it for a lot of reasons. Kind of a little fun story when I was watching the fight the first time. Um, when I was watching the fight for the first time. I had a little bit, and this is kind of just a very embarrassing story as well. But I had a rat inside my house. It kind of got loose. In my house we do like a haunted house every Halloween, so the doors were open and a rat got in, which was a little unfortunate there. Um, but I was kind of, what? No, I don't think it was a rat. It was a mouse. Yeah, it was a mouse. Two different things. Rats are a lot bigger. Um, Anyways, I was watching that fight, and I was getting really into it, and a little mouse came into my room, and I'm not afraid to admit to you guys, to my fans, to the subscribers, that and even the people who are listening on other devices when this gets uploaded to other devices. Um, Sorry about that. Indigestion again. I'm absolutely terrified of rodents. So I remember the fight even a lot more because of that particular event, but that didn't stop me from watching the fight. And after the mouse exited my room, and I had a as I would like to interpret, a white girl scream and jumping up on furniture. I know I'm not the manliest man out there. My wife deals with all that stuff, and I'm not afraid to admit that, honestly. Rodents terrify me. But it puts another whole interpretation of how I remember this fight a lot. Um, it's such a great build up, because I believe it actually happens in potentially it happens in two episodes. I think it happens in like episode 7 and episode 8. I think there's like, it's like split part. Like there's a build up to it, and they really do build it up, and it is, I think, really excellent pacing. And again, I know there's gonna be some manga readers out there that are gonna be like the pacing was terrible, and the pacing was absolute garbage. But I think the pacing for season one was actually really decent pacing, and it really builds up to this fight, and it is just the most epic thing ever, because Bell trains. He trains, and it's not like typical animes where he gets OP like in the first like 2 episodes. No, like Bell actually trains, and he gets better. And I think I miss animes like that. I miss animes where it's like we don't have um, this overly powerful main character, or a character who gets powerful like in just a few episodes. I feel like the pacing for Bell and even the spell he gets that gets him this kind of power, Lice Freeze, I believe that is the spell's name, or the ability that lets him rapidly level up. And again, when I say rapidly level up, he doesn't technically level up that quick. Again, my boy Bel Cornell does get his ass whooped. Like, he gets a little bit of some beatings here and there, and it's very nice because when we see the fights actually happen, it's beautiful. But yeah, that Bell versus the Minotaur fight is just it's so gorgeous of a fight because it is epic. He has an audience, which is some of the top members of the Freya Familia, kind of watching him in this fight. Um, Lily is passed out and a little bit of bloodied because she had to get the Freya Familia to come and try to help Belle, but Belle really stands his ground, and it is just it's so epic, and I can only like the only way I can actually really describe the fight for a lot of people out there who have not seen Danmachi would be very much like the fight against Rock Lee and Gara. Again, another top tier fight there. A fight that just invokes a lot of emotion, and I feel like it has the same effect. Again, there are gonna be some people out there that disagree with this, but I really feel like it has the same effect. It has this effect of like, you know, everything you've worked for coming together. That hardship, that training, and it's just beautifully well storytelled. Um, the next fight I wanted to talk about within the series, and this is another fight that I think is this is another fight that I feel like the anime could have done maybe a little bit better. Again, I actually, after season one, I started reading the manga, and I picked up the light novels, and that kind of ruined a little bit of season two for me. But I still will say this fight is really top tier, and it is the Hestia Familia versus the Apollo Familia, and the siege battle, and it is, even though it's not how I pictured it from what I read in the light novel. I still think it's a really well done fight. I think it was a really cool moment. The basically the Hestia Familia has to defeat the captain of the Apollo Familia in a siege battle, or the Hestia Familia has to give over a bell, and then Hestia has to disband her Familia and leave Orario. And we got a couple of friends that end up joining the Hestia Familia, friends that Belle has gained along the way. Um, Makoto, who's kind of like a samurai, she is just a badass, just badass. We have Wealth Crozone. Again, another really awesome character there. He's like a blacksmith. His family's known for making magical swords, which is a rarity from what the anime explains. You got Lily, and that's something we're going to talk about a little bit later. Is Lily leaving her guild, because that's another epic moment I really enjoyed. Um, and then we have someone from another Familia, and potentially, and this is a little bit spoilers for another category coming ahead, but my favorite character, and probably my number one waifu when it comes to just any anime, Ryu Lyon. And she's a maid. She's a maid, but she also was an adventurer. I think she was like a level 4. And she is just she's a beautiful elf. And I will not lie when I say I simp 100% for Ryu Lyon. She is Bae. She is Bae. She is number one waifu in my book. Again, there's another video on Animen where I kind of talk a little bit about this, and yeah, she is Bae. I love her. But anyways, so they basically, what's really cool about this fight against the Apollo Familia is they build up the Apollo Familia. They're just a deadly force. They have way more members than the Hestia Familia. At the time, Hestia only had Bel, because Hestia just as the anime and the synopsis and a lot of things you read online will say Hestia is just a terrible goddess, and just has this like she just has this problem of debt, and not a good personality, and it's hard to get more familiar members. Um, but it makes the relationship between Belle and Hestia a lot more adorable. But yeah, but in this fight, it's really cool because they do some really interesting tactics. Lily, as I said before, Lily is another character. She's like Belle's supporter. She kind of like disguises herself. She has like a power. I think it's like called Cinderella, or it's like Stroke of Midnight. She says something on the lines of that, and she's able to like mimic, and kind of transform her body. So she kind of disguises herself as a little mole and like infiltrates the castle and kind of gives false information. And when I tell you, it's like basically 100 members versus like what's I believe it's like, let's see here, Belle Wealth, Lily, Mikoto, and Ryu. It's basically 5 members versus like 100, and they actually like, just dog smack them. Like, I don't even know what that phrase is, dog smack, but like they absolutely just whoop them, and it is beautiful. And I think what is the moment in this that I absolutely loved, and I loved in the light novel, is when Belle used Life's Fury. I can't pronounce that. Life's Fury. When he uses his ability, um, when Belle uses his ability, there is this moment where there's another character in the Apollo Familia that like can read, like, well, can predict the future, and she says that the lightning is going to rise, and Belle just releases out this fireball attack and just obliterates the floor, and it is just, oh, it's so badass. And that fight that he has with the Apollo Familia's captain, who I'm blanking on his name at the moment, but it is such a really really fun fight. And what we see prior is the captain of the Apollo Familia absolutely beats the ever living crap out of Belle. Like, it looks like on the verge of death. So just seeing that, seeing Belle get the upper hand. Now, again, I don't want to spoil too much because there are some other things that happen within the fight, but that lead to Belle's victory. But seeing Belle, absolutely beat the captain of the Apollo Familia, and also seeing Hestia, Hestia actually, something that doesn't get talked about is Hestia having kind of her own battle against the Battle of Minds, in a sense, battle of appearance, and again, that smug face Hestia has when she gets to basically she basically wins and gets whatever she wants from the Apollo Familia, is just, it is beautifully done. As I said, there was another thing I wanted to talk about, which was Lily. That's another thing that I really like. Now, it's not a fight, but I will put it in this because it's such an epic moment I love so much. So Lily comes from the Soma Familia, and they're known for making really good wine that will absolutely will get you like, that absolutely will make you just like shit faced. I think that's fine to say that word there. But it would so it absolutely gets you drunk to no end, and Lily was kind of abused by this, and she was abused by her familia. She was very tempted by the wine. So even the knockoff stuff, the stuff that's not even the pure stuff, is still very manageable and still very delicious. Like, it's just sought out. So yeah, it is just like very very toxic familia. And when Lily encounters her the god that she's indebted to, or I wouldn't even say indebted to, but that she's part of that familia. Soma gives her a test, and it's the test of basically will, and she has to drink his wine, which again, his wine's really hard to come by, and people kill people to get this wine. He basically says he will only speak to her, and will only believe her words if she drinks the wine and is able to ask the same thing again, ask the favor again. And she drinks it, and again, she likes it because again, it's very tempting wine, but like the willpower from Lily, and the tears, and the fact that she stuns this god who literally has lived his whole life on when basically coming down to the mortal world, has lived his whole life um, just knowing people, and knowing greed for his wine, and seeing this little um, this little prune. I think that's what they were called in the show and in the manga. Basically seeing this person, his familia member, um, basically beat the wine, and that again, that the power of will is it's actually really incredible, and it's very moving, and it's just a little part, but like it means so much, especially for a character like Lily. Lily is a really, again, another fun character that gets shown in season 1, and she just becomes a treat every time she's on screen. The next fight I want to talk about is the next fight I want to talk about is a little bit much more later into season 2. And I don't want to get it. It is a little bit more into season 2, and this fight is the fight against the Ishtar familia. And this is actually in the red light district, and this is like the final fight. Because it's Belle trying to save Haruhime, and I really love this fight. Like, I really like it, and this is where, like, again, it's moments like this that I'm about to talk about that make Danmachi a perfectly done story and a perfectly done fantasy themed adventure. Is that Belle wants to be this ideal hero, and Haruhime, again, a friend of Makoto's from when they were kids, is in the red light district, and she was sold to basically be a prostitute, and she when Belle offers his help to save her, she refuses, because though she read stories the same as Belle about heroes and princesses and damsels in distress, Haruhime, in her eyes, believes that because she has been forced and has been sold into has been sold into slavery to be a prostitute, she feels unworthy of being saved, because in the stories that Belle and Haruhime, man, that's such a big name, a big word there. I'm getting tongue tied. But Haruhime, the stories that Haruhime and Belle read when they were kids, in those stories, the hero never saves the prostitute. Like, there's no redeeming. That is always in their stories the most disgusting human being, and there's no redemption for characters like that. And we get this really interesting moment of Belle kind of like contemplating what it is to be a hero, and he realizes the hero he wants to be is the hero that it doesn't matter. He just wants to save the damsel in distress, and he feels like, to him, the hero he wants to be is the one that, no matter if you are a prostitute or not, he's going to save you. And again, this fight is super beautiful because he is fighting off a good majority of Amazon women, and it is, again, very epic. And Haruhime's Haruhime's powers are very, very interesting as well. And I don't want to go, again, too much into there because there's so much more to the fight. But that's kind of the main big theme, and it's just really beautiful. Um, and then finally getting into season 3 here. I don't think there was any noteworthy fights that caught my eye in season 3. I mean, there was definitely a very big fight at the end, which was good, but it wasn't really like too big. I think the thing that I kind of liked a little bit was probably the fight against not really a fight, but more of like it's another character that gets introduced, a monster who can talk, and our name's Winnie, and it's the moment where she proves to herself that she's not a deadly monster, and she just wants to be loved, and she loves people, and is not there to hurt them, and that's another kind of big moment. But I feel like I've talked a little bit about moments that I really kind of enjoy in the show, some really good fights and all that. I kind of want to jump over to some random facts of the anime now. So with a little bit of these random facts here, these is kind of just random facts on the show. So I think the first random fact, I know there was a random fact that I mentioned earlier, and I blanked on it. I'm blanking on it now. I forgot what I was going to bring up. Because it was a very interesting fact about the show. Um, oh yeah, that's the goddesses. So yeah. So what's really cool about the creator is the creator actually hates anime and hates. At first hated anime and hated manga. The creator of Danmachi, um, which let me pull up his name here so I'm not flubbing his name. Because I am an American, and I'm not gonna want to flub his name. Oh man, I'm gonna definitely flub that. Fu, man, Fujinyo Omori. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, um, it's also here as Toshi Sato. Let's go with that. I think that's the creator's name, and just in a different form. Um, Again, I'm American. I don't want to necessarily pronounce any names wrong. But yeah, so the creator of Danmachi, he actually didn't like anime. He didn't like manga either. Um, and when he was in college, he was getting his well, when he was in school, I should say, and he was really going for history. He really loved history. Learned a lot about, like, you know, ancient, like, history, different gods and goddesses, like from Greek, Norse, um, Roman, um, so Hindu even as well. So you definitely can already kind of picture some, the puzzle pieces falling in line. So he has a really big knack for history, and the manga that really inspired him, the manga that inspired him to, and I think it was a friend, or he picked it up, but the manga that inspired him to make his own manga was, and I really have to give credit to this manga, because again, Danmachi is one of my favorite animes. Is Sword Art Online. He absolutely read Sword Art Online and loved it, and um, he thought to himself, I want to make a manga, and I think from Sword Art Online we got to Danmachi, which is literally, again, one of the best fantasy animes out there, and it has everything. And I think the background in history, and that love for history, I think actually is a big influence on Danmachi's story. And as I said earlier, there's a whole language that's been built for this. And when I mean language, a whole alphabet, I should say, has been built for this anime and the manga, and it's just truly beautiful. Like, it's truly beautiful. And I think the story is still very holding up, and there's still, like, this big thing that's yet to happen. I'm still a little. I'm still a little caught up with the manga. I'm in the loop. I kind of drifted off just for a bit, but that is kind of a fun fact there, for everyone, that he did create this anime based on sword art, and again, I think that's just really cool, a nice, awesome fun fact there, about just Danmachi. And another kind of random fact for the anime. This is actually very recent. I'm not sure what country it is, but Disney Plus has "Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls?" or to try to pick up girls on a dungeon. Danmachi is on Disney Plus for any viewers out there in different countries. You can end up watching it on Hulu and Crunchyroll as well. Um, if you go over to Sential Works Animation, they also have the DVDs, and for a real cheap price. I think whenever this gets uploaded, hopefully this will get uploaded as soon as possible. I think the summer deal ends in about a few days. This is like July 7th, 2022, when this is being recorded. So at the end of July, that's when the deal ends. So if you like physical copies of DVDs, head over to Sentinel Works and get them for real cheap. I actually just picked up a bunch of different DVDs. I'd love to talk about them, but I still want to just kind of finish a little bit of this particular podcast on Danmachi. So the future of the show, getting to our next segment here, for the future of the show, and I think that's kind of where I was already kind of talking about. I think the future is really looking up. I think there's a huge fan base that is just really loves this anime and loves the characters, loves the story, and I also even see this with the manga readers as well. And I think the future of the show is looking good, and I think we are going to get an end to this fantastic series. I think we're really going to get a completed anime there. I know there's a lot of anime out there that just don't get completed. Like some anime don't even get season 2, and that's kind of where Animen actually started. I love Danmachi so much that I was actually sad that Danmachi might not get a season 2, and look, I'm here, and we're already jumping into a season 4, and I couldn't be even more happier. Again, there have been kicked my table there. Again, I'm actually just so happy that I can really enjoy a lot more anime because of Danmachi. Danmachi really opened that gateway to just some awesome picks that I'm going to be talking about here on the podcast. Might even bring in Zach for this particular podcast, or any particular podcast in the future. Talk about certain animes out there. But yeah, I'm just super grateful for Danmachi, and I think Danmachi is definitely going in the right direction, or at least from what I see, and we are definitely getting we're definitely getting some good stuff in the future. So for our final segment of here in the show, I wanted to kind of go over the waifu list, the waifu and husbando list. Now, this comes into different categories. Waifu and husbando, that is the top tier. That is like, you are wife material or you are husband material. There is number 2, which is the friend group. This is usually for like characters that are really cool, that you think are like, yeah, they are the friend group necessarily. They're cool, but like you wouldn't want to do intimate stuff with them. There is number 3, which is just trash characters. And trash characters can just be good characters as well. And then number 4, we're gonna finally round this out with who the best boy and the best girl of this anime is. So I'm gonna be starting off here with the waifus. The waifus of of Danmachi, and I think we got to start with probably the biggest waifu there is, Hestia. Hestia is Bestia. She is 100% on the waifu list there. I do need to note that before I continue to talk about how awesome Hestia is, I do want to note that we're not going to go through every single character from Danmachi because that would take way too long. We're just going to be talking about characters that are probably really big in the community and all that. But yeah, so Hestia, really big. I think she's definitely waifu material. She's there to support her familia. She's there to support Belle. I think just genuinely, if her eyes weren't just for Belle, I think I honestly do think she's there for her familia. Again, she makes a perfect wife. She can cook some good potato croquettes. She is a hard worker. Instead of asking for favors and asking for her familia to help her with her debt, she was gonna do that all by herself. So taking responsibility where responsibility is needed. So Hestia is again top tier waifu. Moving on from Hestia, keeping up with the gods, we're gonna jump into Loki here. Now, Loki, she's kind of arrogant. She really, again, very much like any other god, really likes her familia. So with Loki's a very hard, really hard to place her in my book, because I think Loki is genuinely actually a very attractive anime character, even though she is, she has no breast, and again, all boobies matter. But for Loki, I think because of her personality, and I don't really see too many redeeming qualities, I probably put her on the the friend group. She's definitely in the friend group. She's not trash, but she's definitely in the friend group. Someone I would like to maybe have some alcohol with. Next up on our list is Hephaestus, and I'm shooting her up to waifu like 100%. Again, she's there for her friends. She gets it. She just kind of seems like, besides Freya, who we're going to be getting to next. Besides Freya, Hephaestus seems like a Dami mommy. But Hephaestus seems like more of the gentle type, definitely, I would definitely waifu Hephaestus in a heartbeat, and such a very underrated goddess as well. She's beautiful, and I also love the interpretation that the creator made her a girl, not a dude. So I think that was just a really interesting choice there. Freya. Absolute trash. Freya, I just don't like Freya a lot. Again, she got the looks, but I'm gonna be honest, she's trash. She's only there to give orders, and she's just trash. She just got a lot of simps bowing down before her. I mean, again, she's a goddess of beauty and stuff, so I understand that, but she's trash. But yeah, so that's my standpoint on Freya. I think there's really no redeeming qualities from her. It's just very manipulative. And the same thing for our next one, Ishtar. Very much like Freya. I think she's even more trash. Ishtar runs a whole red light district, and again, even though her familia is totally fine with that, Ishtar's just trash. The way she manipulates men, and she's like Freya, but she does a lot more scummier stuff, I feel. And we're gonna kind of pass this down a little bit and kind of go through. I know there are some other goddesses there, but I want to go to another kind of big goddess that we do see in the show, and that is Artemis. So, well, not in the show, but in the movie, Arrow of Orion. Artemis, and I'm gonna say this, waifu material. 100% Artemis. Um, she definitely had this interesting attitude before what happened to her in the movie. But I will say she's very kind. She definitely looks like she has a really nice personality, and again, she's very, very, very noble, and it really feels like getting past a lot of her duties, that she would make a good waifu. Um, she would make a good waifu. Um, Actually, the more I talk about her, I hate to do this. I'm gonna go back on Artemis now. Um, she genuinely is a beautiful anime character, and I really like a lot of her qualities. But I'm gonna have to put her in good friend, because I think her duties, and also trying to think of like how her attitude was like before of what happened to her in the movie. I think her duties would outweigh her affection. Um, I think she definitely needs to find the right person to kind of settle down with. So I don't think it's like, that's something that you can gain over time. But I think she'd be a good friend. Just thinking that her duties, and her that honorability, the idea to like, I need to do the right thing, and I need to constantly keep protecting, serve and protect. It doesn't feel like she would be the let's settle down, get a nice little cottage. She seems like she would be just a good friend. I hate to do that though, because Artemis is a really great character. Going into Miak, Miak, he's kind of like the potion guy. He kind of sells potions. Um, Total husbando, 100%. Total husbando. He definitely seems like a character that would just settle down, and he seems kind, great. Seems like a great listener. Um, so yeah, Miak is just, yeah, he's great. And then going to Miak's other better half, Takami. I'm just gonna call him Takami, but this was a Makoto's god that she followed before switching over to the Hestia Familia. And Takami, again, very, very, very similar to Miak. He seems like someone who would just definitely settle down after the end of the day. Live kind of a peaceful life, and doesn't want to get under the radar, but he definitely husbando material. Getting into my boy Ganesha. I am Ganesha. I love this dude. I love this dude a lot. He's definitely going into the friend group. Like, definitely good friend. This dude just radiates the best chat energy I've ever seen, and I love it. I love Ganesha so much. Just every time he's on screen, he's funny. So, but he's a good friend. He definitely doesn't seem like a husbando. Um, going through this a little bit more. Apollo, absolute trash. Hermes, Hermes is tough. I want to say Hermes is trash because he is a little bit shady. He he does some kind of trashy things. But to be honest, who's not a pervert? Like, everyone has a little bit of a perverted side to them. Um, and there's a lot of good intentions. So I'll say Hermes is a good, like, he's a good friend. He's a really good friend. I would say he's a good friend. He's kind of on the border, though. I will say he's kind of on the border because he has done some things that are a little questionable there. Moving up to Soma, we've talked about Soma here on the podcast. Um, he's trash. Even though he did a good thing in the end, ignoring, basically ignoring the the shitty things that's happening in his familia. He needs to restructure. He needs to restructure that. He needs to restructure his familia. Like, so much trash. He basically did the I'm just going to pent up and be listen to Green Day and my Fallout Boy and be all sad and stuff. Yeah, no, he definitely is trash. I'm sorry. I can't defend Soma. I know there's some other gods here, but I want to kind of move on to some of the main characters, or the other races, the other characters. Bell, good friend. He's a little underage. I don't think he can make husbando just yet, but he's definitely a good friend. Same thing goes with Lily. I think Lily's a great best friend. Um, Wealth, I'm not sure on Wealth what's Wealth's age in the show, but I will say Wealth. He definitely makes another good kind of friend, but I can actually see him making a great husbando as well within the future. A little bit even more than Bell. Like Bell again, his focus is more of like he wants to be this. His focus is more the the adventurer kind of lifestyle. But Wealth, I could see like he definitely seems like he has a solid job and he could settle down with a woman. Um, Makoto, good friend. Again, I could see her becoming a waifu, but like, good friend. Again, she has her goals set. She has her goals set. It's like I feel like adventure life was made for her. Haruhime, on the other hand, again, I'm putting her in the friend bracket because, again, I'm not 100% sure on their ages, and I think they are younger. But I will say Haruhime is on that border as well with Wealth. She can in fact like in the future when she becomes of age, Haruhime can make an actually fantastic waifu. But again, because of her age, she is going into that friend group there. But I just want to let that know that she's on that border though, because when she does turn of age, she'd make a fantastic waifu like right from the get go. Jumping into the Loki familia, we got Finn. Um, Man, when I sigh, it's like I know I'm gonna get like heat from the fandom. I think Finn is trash, and I know that's a really hard statement to say, but I think Finn is very trash because, again, his honor is more. He's more into that adventure kind of like mindset, and Finn. I believe Finn is of age, but like I think Finn is just. We've seen a little bit of his negative side in season 3, and I feel like he genuinely might be a little. He might have some secrets hidden up in there, and might be a little bit of a trashy person. Riviera, I can see her becoming a great waifu. It feels like she could probably bounce back from the adventuring lifestyle and settle down. Same thing with Gareth, the dwarf. On again, another character doesn't get talked about too much. I could see Gareth becoming a great husbando. Again, getting from like he probably would settle down with Mamma Mia, Mamma Mia, with I think he can settle down. And I think he would be a great husbando. Eyes, mwah, Eyes is trash. I'm sorry, Eyes is such a trash character. I could see her being. She's an interesting love interest, but like as characters go, there's no emotion, and I don't know what's going on in her head. It's just she just seems like a very the most emotion we've ever gotten out of this character, and I'm not counting her own spin-off series, but like the only emotion we've seen is um when Winnie ripped off her wing. That's like probably the most we've gotten from her expression. Other than that, I think Eyes would not make a great waifu. I think I don't even honestly don't think she would make a good friend. Also, she's too plain. Going into there, Tiona and the twins, the twin Amazon, Tioni and Tiona, 100% good friends. I don't see them as waifu material, but they would be great friends. Lifa, trash. Um, Again, her mindset is just too one-sided. Bet, I could see Bet being a great husbando. He'd be a little bit rough around the edges, but be really really great there. Um, Moving on a little bit here now to Odar from the Freya familiar. Again, trash. Again, very one-sided. He only simps for one girl. Mia. So this is Mia. For those that don't know, Mia is the lady who runs the Hostess of Fertility. I believe that's the name of the maid. She runs the maid cafe basically. She's definitely waifu material. She definitely seems like she can protect but also cook and all that stuff. And you know, she definitely seems like she is a kind of a housekeeper. Um, and then kind of going in here, we're gonna go to we're gonna go a little bit past here and go into. I'm gonna go a little bit past some of these characters here. I'm gonna because we have reached the 1 hour mark here. Naza, total waifu. She seems sweet. She seems adorable. She definitely seems like she wants to settle down. Daphne, good friend. Cassandra, waifu. Again, Daphne seems like more of that adventurer spirit. Would probably continue being an adventurer. Cassandra, I just want to, she's too precious. I think she needs to settle down and be safe. uh, Osfi, 100% waifu. She's one of those waifus that are going to definitely keep you in place. She's the kind of the main girl. I would say even the captain possibly of the Hermes Familia. She's fantastic, and she definitely seems like she's that more responsible type, and she'd probably be a great soulmate. And going through this list here, I do apologize if I don't say your particular waifu. But there is a particular waifu here that I've not seen yet, and I wanted to talk a little bit about. I think I've touched up upon some of the bigger people, but here we go. Going into it was the Hostess of Fertility. So we're gonna first start off with Seer. This is the gray hair girl from the Hostess of Fertility. I think she's trash. I think again, there's a lot of more negative qualities than positive qualities in her character, um, and it's something they didn't show, but they showed in the light novels is that she actually betted against Belle, which I thought was just really funny, and they didn't show that in the in season 2. Um, we get to Anya and Anya Chloe. Um, so like Anya and Chloe, I think are good friends. Um, then Ryu Lyon, I've already made it a point. She's my favorite waifu. She's top of the top. She's waifu material. Ryu Lyon is just, you know, Ryu just has the qualities, all the qualities. She could protect you. She seems like she would make a great wife. Just all the qualities of a good wife. As well as Anya, and Anya from the guild. And yeah, so I think I want to kind of wrap on there. I didn't want to go. I did kind of speed run through this here, through some of the characters here. Again, I didn't want to go through all the characters, but let's kind of end it off on who's the best boy and who's the best girl. So for the best boy of the series is, well, it's obvious it's going to be Bell Cornell. Bell Cornell he deserves title of best boy. He is lovable. He's goofy. He has adorable qualities. The animation really makes him seem like this adorable character. A lot of people seem to really like him. You want to protect him, but you also want to see him succeed. He's definitely is best boy. Best girl. For best girl of the series, I don't want to say Hestia. Though Hestia is Bestia. And don't get me wrong there. I don't think she is best girl of the series. I do want to see more of Hestia. I think Hestia has a really interesting character. But I think a character that really deserves that spot would be Lily. I think Lily deserves the best girl spot because I think she has some very interesting character development, and so far from what we've seen in the series, I want to see her continue to grow. I want to see her bounce back and possibly even return to the Soma Familia. Not actually join the Soma Familia, but return to show her growth. So best girl definitely is Lily there. So we're a little bit stumbling over my words. So we're a little bit past, a few minutes past the hour mark here. I want to kind of keep these podcasts a little bit short. Um, so this was the kind of our first episode here. Most first episodes are very rusty, but this was the Animen Waku Waku podcast. Again, I am your host, Travis from Animen, and I hope everyone has just a fantastic evening, night, morning, or whenever you're listening to this podcast here. And obviously, hit the follow, hit the subscribe, whatever platform this is on. I do really appreciate you spending the time to kind of listen to me kind of ramble on and talk about Danmachi here. In the future, we'll definitely have other people on the show talking about animes and I want to keep the kind of show to not just multiple animes, but just one anime per episode, and really highlight the beauty of just anime in general out there. Take the time to really give that time spot for one particular anime, mainstream or even not mainstream. But I do hope everyone has a fantastic, again, rest of their day, morning, evening, night, or whenever you're listening to this. Once again, I am Travis. I am your Animen podcast host for the Waku Waku podcast, and I will bid you guys a good day.